The second core ethics principle that we'll be discussing throughout the course concerns the concept of proximity.
In psychology, the concept of proximity is a key variable in explaining behavior in many circumstances. Proximity denotes both how physically close or emotionally close we are to someone or something. And differences in proximity can lead to varied outcomes.
One story that demonstrates the impact of proximity is the classic trolley problem. Now, you may recall a teacher explaining it to you when you were younger. And if this doesn't ring a bell, don't worry, we'll do a quick recap. The typical version of the trolley problem usually compares two scenarios where there's a runaway trolley about to hit a group of 5 people. Now, in the first scenario, you have the choice to divert the trolley with a switch, pulling a lever, which would change the trolley's direction and kill one person instead of the group of 5. In the second scenario, instead of a switch, you're required to physically push a person in front of the trolley to stop it, thus saving the group of 5, but killing the person that you pushed. Now, both actions lead to a similar outcome, and yet the way that our brains process the situations is completely different.
The trolley problem has been reviewed and studied many times, and in each case, nearly everyone opts to divert the trolley using the switch, and nearly all object to pushing a person into its path. This dichotomy highlights the importance of proximity in people's decision-making. If an action is proximate, physically or emotionally, then we often rely on the moral center of our brain to consider the dilemma. That is represented by the fact that almost everyone chooses to not push the man onto the tracks directly.
Now, conversely, if an action is non-proximate in nature, meaning the action and its outcome are separated even slightly, then we often rely on the logic or cost-benefit center of our brain to consider the dilemma. That is represented by the fact that nearly everyone opts to pull the lever, even though the action leads to nearly the same outcome as pushing the man. Now, this is very important because our world is increasingly distant and non-proximate in nature, resulting in our leaders increasingly using amoral cost-benefit analysis when making decisions that can affect broad sectors of society.
Let's recall the Wells Fargo example we just discussed. If you compare Wells Fargo, a large international bank, to perhaps a bank in a small town, the role of proximity is pretty clear. Psychologically speaking, it's generally much harder to cheat people we are proximate to, people we interact with on a daily basis, compared to a customer that is just a number, one person that is part of a large mass.
Accordingly, the concept of proximity applies to fintech also. One great outcome of fintech is that it will provide financial access to a greater number of people, those that are unbanked or underbanked. Now, at the same time, though, this technology will probably require less human interaction, meaning less proximity as well. So does that mean that as proximity declines, people will lean towards cheating each other more? Now, who knows? But what is clear is that we want new innovations to bring us closer together and not drive us further apart.